Greetings fans of the Gibberpish podcast. This is Colin coming to you with a quick edit bay apology before the main show. We'll begin quickly, but we realised while recording that the first half of the show was done through the wrong microphone. The Audacity program picked up on the mic through my laptop, but not the actual Yeti that we attached to the computer to record through. So the audio is slightly off. Somehow myself and Dom are kind of evenly balanced, but we're both off because we're recording from different distances away from a mic that we don't actually speak into. So our apologies for that. We're hoping to get that fixed for the next time we do an episode. Just maybe a quick check before we start. Little things that, anyone who's not an idiot would do. But in speaking Gibberpish, we make ourselves idiots. So on with the show. Hey, can someone cue the intro music? Oh wait, it's just me. Shit. Welcome to the Gibberpish podcast.
Well, we're both wearing incontinence lingerie, but we're here to talk Gibberpish, aren't we, Dom?
Yes, we are.
Now, would you mind explaining what the fuck incontinence lingerie means?
Well, incontinence is when you can't control your bowels. And I assume incontinence lingerie is for when you can't control your bowels, but you want to look sexy for your significant other.
I figured it was bladder, but bowels now has me worried.
Pretty much the same thing. Like, you can't control. Like,
It's pretty much the same thing. Someone was not taught potty training properly.
Yeah, I can wipe, that's all I need.
I can wait.
This has been shown in New Zealand on a catwalk. This must be some, very hot, don't shit yourself pants.
How good looking do you have to be, do you think, to pull off incontinence lingerie?
I think you need to be maybe Emma Watson top.
Yeah, worth a go. We'll see if we can pull it off during this episode, but hopefully they stay on.
Hopefully.
Zinger!
This is all in an effort to stop bathroom breaks during the middle of podcasts. So we're basically wearing the Ann Summers equivalent to the man diaper.
Yeah, it's strange to think that there's a real thing where you can be a grown man and still wear a diaper.
Yeah.
I've seen it pop up on a couple of TV shows, but it's typically around the idea of someone having an extremely weird sexual fetish, where they either idealize their childhood to the point where it'd be great if they could just have someone take care of them while still being an adult. And they say it's not sexual, but it is at the same time, and it's really, really strange. They're very funny TV shows to watch because you look at it and think, I hope that's never me. I can't
I've seen
imagine.
more in sketch shows where there's one guy who's just so glued to whatever's on, be it the football, some form of sport. He just goes, right, I need to go to the toilet. Aha, I have my man diaper on. And you see him do their face of relief, and he's got this big massive stain on his man diaper.
Yeah, I've seen of all those weird shows, the worst one had to be a guy who had an arrangement where he was living with someone of consenting age, a very important part of the story, who would act like a 5-year-old, to the point where they would be together out in the shops, and she would throw a fit. She would literally have those kind of stroppy kid, Mommy, I want sweets, give me sweets, not moving until you give me candy. In the middle of a shop, there's an 18-year-old woman who was kind of in on the whole thing and just enjoyed the idea of being kind of pampered in a way.
She must have paid a hell of a lot for that.
The weird thing is, I don't think it's a payment thing. I think it might actually be some form of relationship, parasitic and to the point of symbiosis, but really, really strange to watch that happen.
Oh, whatever, pickles your pickle, I guess.
It's one of those documentaries you find on an obscure channel at 11 o'clock.
If you're watching the Discovery Channel at 4 in the morning, you'll probably find something like that. My husband will not take his baby's underwear off. My story. My baby wife.
That went 6 different ways.
I know it did.
Yeah,
I was aiming for it that way.
My husband wouldn't take off his underwear. My baby wife. Yeah, that's
documentaries are as vague as possible.
Yeah, my favourite tends to be ones with really strange body dysmorphia, where it's kind of like the man with the 1 stone testicles, where he has just a build-up of fluid that no one can quite figure out, just not infecting, but affecting his testicles, and just kind of everything's
just one calcified nut. It's just one stone, a massive boulder testicle.
It kind of looks like both are kind of swollen, or it's evenly swollen, or the shape of the testicle or the shape of the sac has somehow maintained itself as each testicle kind of swells and then has fluid around it. Terrifying, but really funny at the same time.
I think we just went for 5 minutes talking about somebody's nut.
Well, we started talking about incontinence diapers, so frankly, we're in keeping with the theme of the show.
True.
Yeah.
But what we got this week? We got a spattering of Civil War news. Who's on whose team? Who's going Team Cap? Who's going Team Iron Man? And I have a little critique of the Black Panther suit.
What do you think is wrong or right with it?
It looks spot on, but to me it looks too technological. For what Wakanda is, it looks too technological.
Is he? I'm not familiar with Black Panther. Is he supposed to be like an African prince who moves to New York to fight crime or something?
No, he's an African prince that is solely... The Black Panther's this phenomenon in his kind of... I don't want to say tribe, because...
His community.
His community. And
but you said tribe, you racist?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
As soon as you rise to, I think in his case, adulthood, he inherits the title of Black Panther and he becomes the president, almost like the head, like the leader of that community. And I've always taken the Black Panther as just someone who's in peak physical condition. There's no additions to his body. He's just like stupidly strong, stupidly agile. But in this, I think they're kind of going for he's used his country's technology to augment himself, make himself look stronger, make himself stronger, faster. And
I think in a weird way, if you look at it, it's supposed to be trying to replace certain characters because we're not going to have Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man forever. So we should be kind of expecting them to try and replace characters with certain themes. But also, at some point, Black Panther is going to have to punch someone like the Hulk or Thor, and they're going to have to explain that it does stagger someone rather than he just really lifts.
Yeah, he's doing 200 to warm up.
Yeah, you have to believe that there's something on this guy's side that lets him punch an Asgardian and knock him back a few steps just for cinematic purposes. And if they want to do that through technology, I suppose that's fine.
Yes, my understanding of it is always his powers are naturally gained. Well, not powers, his abilities are naturally gained. There's no technology involved. It's an interesting choice, interesting direction to take the character. It might not be my case, but Marvel movies never fail, with the exception of maybe Fantastic Four.
That failed hard, but that wasn't really Marvel.
Yeah, that was Sony.
My question is, are they going with Black Panther with a cowl?
Yeah, they're going with him like
the full get up. It's not like where Falcon has no mask. He's just a dude in a suit with exo wings.
Oh, they're giving him the kind of flight goggles to kind of constitute a mask.
Could they be taking the piss out of Batman? Because if you look at Batman's thing in the last couple of years, his cowl has become kind of more, not less batty, but it does kind of look a bit cat-like almost, kind of. It could be a deliberate kind of poke.
No, they're deliberately going away from the original. Because in Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, the two Batman films no one likes to talk about, they went for the big Batman ears, like the ridiculously huge ears on the cowl. So I think they're just trying to distance themselves from that as much as possible. And even in the comics, they've shortened the ears quite a bit.
Yeah.
So they're just trying to keep it more comic book-esque.
I was just wondering from the Black Panther perspective if that's a case of them saying, we have a highly skilled, well-trained, rich guy who wants to fight crime, augmented a little bit by technology. That's pretty much Batman.
Yeah, pretty much.
This time he's black. Black man. Straight to the racism bin.
That was Stan Lee's version of Batman. He was essentially Black Panther, but instead of him putting on a panther suit, he put on basically several bat skins with like headlights to be able bat ears as well.
Weird.
It was one of Stan Lee's what if comics. What if Stan Lee made Batman, and it was fucking strange.
Yeah, well, I don't know how his writing compares to that of Batman, but I imagine he goes for the kind of cartoony style more than DC Comics would. But yeah, I'd watch that.
I'd give it a read. If I ever found that, I'd give it a read. These books are very limited runs, very hard to get your hands on.
Yeah,
if you're not willing to pay several $1,000s on eBay.
So we've got Civil War. Who is kind of lining up on what side?
On Team Cap, you have Agent 13 from Civil War. You have Falcon, Ant-Man, and Hawkeye.
Right.
On Team Cap. And on Team Iron Man, you have War Machine, Vision, Black Widow, and one other character that escaped. Fuck it, I can't remember.
So it's good to be an Earth hero.
Yeah.
Because they're somewhere like, the US government shows up and goes, so Thor, you're going to have to come with us to a building and fill out some paperwork, and Thor just goes, no, and flies away. Fuck your shit, I'm done.
I can summon an interdimensional travel bridge, I can just go wherever the hell I want. will not fill out any fucking paperwork.
Yeah.
You just imagine it or he puts ink on the end of Mjolnir, smashes the table. That's my fucking signature, bitch.
Please identify yourself. Do you really need to ask who the guy who arrived on a rainbow bridge is? Yeah, who would be the other hero? It wouldn't be the Hulk. Doesn't get involved.
I think it might be Ant-Man. So Team Iron Man.
I think he'd be there on his side because Iron Man's on the side of not registering, right?
Yeah, he's on the side of secret identity.
Yeah.
Captain America's pro-registration. He wants all the heroes to register themselves to try and increase liability on heroes.
Because if you look at it, the list kind of seems like people who would not want to be identified. Like Black Widow wouldn't want to be identified because she has a lot of red in her ledger, to quote Loki. I would say it fits more for Ant-Man as a criminal to be on Iron Man's side. In case someone goes, hey, that guy who just saved a bus full of school kids
He stole
also
my watch
robbed
5
me
years ago.
last week. What the fuck? Like,
He stole my watch
yeah.
5 years ago, man. What the fuck?
He's not getting the keys to the city. The dick just took my fucking grand's inheritance from me.
No, it's quite clear, it's stupidly fucking obvious that Black Widow is a double agent. She's only going on Iron Man's side to try and manipulate it from the inside.
Oh.
It's stupidly fucking obvious.
So that kind of leaves Cap a little bit short.
Right.
So if the Hulk's not involved, Thor's not involved, that kind of leaves...
No, but hold it, Hulk is set to appear.
He will appear just to try and... maybe it'll be Banner showing up and going, guys, come on, can't we just hang out like the old times? And then somebody hits somebody, Hulk's out and smashes everyone.
What I'm interested to see about Civil War is how they use Scarlet Witch again, and how Spider-Man fits into the whole thing.
Because by this time we should start to see Spider-Man getting wrapped into it, because he is very... Maybe he's the guy that's missing from your list, because he identifies himself during one of the comics.
He starts the whole Civil War thing because he joins Team Cap, puts himself forward as the first.
He has a press conference and just pulls his mask off and goes...
I'm Peter Parker,
There
I'm
you go.
Spider-Man since I was 16 years old. And then he switches over to Team Iron Man.
Once Aunt May gets shot or something like that.
Aunt May and Mary Jane get fucked up.
It is somebody that's a criminal, right? Like, there's no guy on the street who is going to just go after Peter Parker's family. Like, I imagine if you're a guy who just knows someone who was saved by Spider-Man and you find out it's the kid from down the street, you go leave like a box of chocolates and you go, hey, thanks for having a good kid who just, had his shit right.
Thanks for being bitten by a radioactive spider.
Yeah, thanks for taking a hit from me, because I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have been bitten by the spider. I would have, seen it coming from the fucking half-hour-long scene of it descending from the fucking rafters in the original movies.
Oh, so fucking long. Although in The Amazing Spider-Man, it's the dumbest scene ever. He walks into a room full of spiders, like, pings one of the, spider silks, and they all just fall on him, and there's this really stupid scene of him freaking the hell out. It looks really, really poorly shot, and he's, spinning all around, got all these spiders on him, and one bites him in the neck, and he passes out for several hours.
If you want an example of a really poorly shot scene that ruins a fucking movie, my brother has been coming up to use the oven because their oven is busted, so they've been cooking pizzas up here, and we just happen to hang out and watch movies. First movie we watched was Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl. Surprisingly good, dumb movie.
Very good film.
You can sit down and watch that at any point. I mean, you'd have to go out and watch the rest of them, like you'd have to commit to watching it, but if something comes on, not a bad idea. He then popped up the second time, and it was The Two Towers from the Lord of the Rings series. Very good film. Fucking fantastic film at some points. A couple of logical flaws. The entire evening consisted of me and him physically tearing the end of that movie apart. We may have gotten a little abusive towards Sam at the end when he has a little kind of, you know what keeps us going, Mr. Frodo? It's hope. And we just took the absolute piss out of him. We just tore that fucker apart. What made a really big break in that entire movie was when Aragorn falls off the edge of the cliff during the war fight. Great scene, the whole battle still looks pretty good. I think we're watching the Sky Movies HD and holds up pretty well. I don't know how HD it was shot, but it works. Aragorn falls off at the end. There's a little dream sequence of him floating down the river. It's a mix of him being in and out of consciousness. Works really well. Sets up a couple of scenes later on, or sets up more of his relationship with Arwen. Otherwise, you wouldn't really believe it was a thing. Yeah. And then there's a weird scene where he's delusional. Like he's suffered a couple of injuries. I'm pretty sure he got hit in the head as well. And he's riding a horse. And there's one camera shot where it looks. The whole film is so smooth, but this entire thing throws it off, and you'll see it when you see it. You'll know it. It's Aragorn riding across the screen almost, but the cameraman stands in the middle of the shot. Aragorn rides towards the cameraman. The camera turns, and then Aragorn heads off to the other side. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because it's shot at evening. It looks like it's got a different color palette. Maybe it's the fact that it looks like it's shot on a handheld camera rather than a very stationary piece of equipment. I don't know how it was shot, but it's the one shot of that movie I fucking hate. Like, I'm that nitpicky about it. I just hate that one fucking scene.
No, I know what you're talking about. That happened to me with the second Hobbit movie.
Right.
With the barrow scenes. They've escaped the Woodell stronghold, and they're floating down the river in the barrow. One, the stupid CG that they used fucking annoyed me, and then there's the shitty GoPro footage that they used. I mean, you have all these big expensive cameras that can shoot these like absolutely amazing.
They got
high
new
colour
cameras
scene.
to shoot at 48 frames per second.
Hey, it was 48 frames per second because there was this huge walk. It should be 60 FPS. Still look good.
No, the whole thing was, I can't believe you doubled it up, it now looks fake. Because some of the stuff doesn't look right, some of the metal doesn't look right in some movie, or some people say that I didn't mind it. You really don't like that scene? I think it's one of the funniest in the movie. I watched that in the cinema and I laughed my ass off.
Me off. It's a funny scene. It's just the way it's shot bugged me. It's the CG, it's the GoPro footage that takes you right out of the film. Because one thing I love about films like Lord of the Rings, to an extent Harry Potter, even though I'm not a fan of Harry Potter in any way, shape or form, I like to get immersed in movies.
They are very immersive. You do feel you're not stuck in that world, but you're kind of lost in that world and you're happy about it.
But then the GoPro footage just ripped me right out of that.
Is it? Yeah, it
Same
does
with
look like
like-
somebody's kayaking photos.
And same with Azog the Defiler and the fact that he was digital. I didn't like the fact he was digital because then you have Lux, who was just a guy in full body makeup.
Yeah.
It goes back to the argument or the talk that we had in episode 7, practical effects versus CGI.
Right.
To me, practical effects look better because like I said, Lux so much more imposing and much more menacing than Azog did.
The problem with that is that Manu Bennett has 2 arms.
Yeah, sure.
That's kind of a little stick there, and it is. I quite like him being digital because it let them play around with him, like at the last scene where he has a different armor set on, where part of the armor is rammed inside of him.
Yeah.
You can see that's kind of being put into his muscle and nailed in place through muscle, which is really cool and really gruesome and very orcish in a way. I really like it. But at the same time, it kind of had to be digital because Manu Bennett has a nose and 2 arms, and Azog kind of doesn't.
I'm just not a huge fan of the more CGI heavy movies. I'm just a fan of practical effects. They work better for me. I watched The Thing recently.
Yeah.
John Carpenter's The Thing. That's the best use of physical effects you will see outside of maybe The Evil Dead. Just outstanding film, and it looks pretty good. You can clearly see like little scenes where like that's clearly some guy pulling the mouth open and it's closing it, and the guys are bitten off.
Right.
I just prefer to see that because it shows more effort in it. I know CGI is a long process. I'm not saying that I could do it. It's a very technical process, but it just seems like a guy sitting at a computer for a couple of hours, whereas practical effects is a lot of like a very lengthy process, a lot of care taken in it, so it just looks as real as possible.
How do you feel about the Hobbit films in general? I really like them.
They're not my favourite movies.
I like the fact that they captured a scale that was comparable to the Lord of the Rings original trilogy with a shorter story, like a small. I know a lot of people hate it for that. I was like, I get to watch 9 hours of people running around being hobbits and dwarves and elves and stuff.
The 3 gripes I have with that film is, one, I think everyone had this, at the end of the first movie, the Eagles that come to rescue them. It never happened in the book. The Eagles did not come and rescue them when they leave whatever cave or whatever place it is that Gollum's hiding where Bilbo first gets there.
Right.
That does not happen.
They do show up at the Warg one because that's the chapter out of the frying pan into the fire.
Yeah.
Which I remember for some reason. I've not read it in years. We haven't read it since we read it at primary school.
Yeah. Because most people were reading like Harry Potter primary school. No, I have Lord of the Rings 3. Lord of the Rings is cooler. There's dwarves and.
Do you not remember that we made the class read that? We were in that reading group, and it was a case of we could read The Indian in the Cupboard about a little tiny Native American living in someone's house.
Yeah.
And I was like,
or like you put it in a little like Wendy house thing, open it up and it'd come back to life or something like that.
yeah, I don't remember.
I remember the movie vaguely.
I didn't even read it, but they had that, or it was The Hobbit, and I turned to you guys and I remember talking to you and one of our other friends and we go, what's The Hobbit? And you went, it's the one from the Lord of the Rings, but before Lord of the Rings. And I'm like, awesome, cool, let's do that. And we, like, no one else, like, gave a shit, so, like, the 3 of us managed to swing the vote somehow.
Yeah.
And we got to read The Hobbit.
I think
And everyone hated it.
mine was, it's a really good book, we need to watch, we need to listen, we need to read it. I'm like, no, we weren't reading it in the cover. I was like, no, Hobbit.
Hobbit?
Good book, Hobbit. Let's throw stuff in it like dragons, and I think as soon as we said dragons and gold and battles, everyone was like, yeah, let's read this.
And then that doesn't really happen.
No.
Yeah. I know a lot of people complained about the fact that Bilbo gets knocked the fuck out in the
That
book.
happened in the book though.
Yeah, that he gets knocked the fuck out in the book, and then they managed to still spin it into doing a battle scene, but I love the battle scene.
Yeah, the battle scene was pretty good. There's one thing Peter Jackson can't do wrong with battle scene.
You got Billy Connolly to ride him on board.
Yeah.
CGI the hell out of him,
That was
but
pretty fucking cool.
you know, you can complain about CGI until Billy Connolly shows up on a boar as a dwarf headbutting orcs.
That's when he was first diagnosed with Parkinson's. So it's probably easy just to get his likeness and get him to record a couple of lines than it was to get him to actually come in.
Oh yeah, and also, he's quite a tall guy. He's like 6 foot plus.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have fit in with the rest of the cast.
I mean, they done the same with Gimli, the guy who played Gimli, John Rhys Davies. That guy was 6'2", and he was playing Gimli.
Yeah,
That
they
was
got
forced perspective. Fuck.
and a body double.
Yeah.
There's some shots they just can't get. Like there's one of my favourite things, the Two Towers, is the scene in what's it called? Edoras, and it's the King's Hall in Edoras where Gandalf is going up to deal with the Saruman affected Theoden and just knock Wormtongue the fuck out as well. And Gimli, Legolas, and Aragorn just start laying into the bodyguards who try and stop them, and it just becomes like a little bit of a brawl in the middle of all this, and you see Gimli just knocking people the fuck out. And at one point he has, I think it might be Wormtongue. I think Wormtongue tries to interfere and Gimli knocks him the fuck out and like has him on the ground and is standing on his chest at one point just going, "Don't you move."
I fucking stay still.
But there's just a shot of Gimli and it's obviously the shorter body double just kind of like standing on the chest looking down at him going, "Knock you out if you move." It's a great scene, I quite enjoy it. And one of the reasons I love that film is that scene kind of just boosts everything up a bit.
It was pretty good. I just would have preferred if they done, if they have Billy Connolly, don't just use his voice. My second gripe about the film, all the shit with Bard the Boatman. He wasn't some normal fisherman. He was head of the town guard. He was a really important character. All that stuff kind of seemed glossed over to me.
But they did make him an important character, but just
Yeah,
he was a character hiding in shame almost of like a family failure, and then he rises to the occasion to make him more relatable, because it's a story about, at that point, it's all about the dwarves, the wizard, and the hobbit, all fairly unrelatable characters.
That's what it should be though. I don't really see why we need to relate to these characters when it's meant to be a fantasy movie about them.
But you got a chance to use Luke Evans, so why not just kind of make the most of Luke Evans?
I just would have preferred if they used him in the actual story context. He's a really important character, not just some guy who's been pushed about and you're a fisherman, Bard, get the hell in my way, scum.
Quick little aside for the Luke Evans thing, do you know he's playing Gaston in Beauty and the Beast? I'm going to watch the hell out of that movie because Emma Watson's in it, but him as Gaston,
Who's Emma Watson?
she's Beauty. Or she's Belle. Who else would she be in Beauty and the Beast? She's pretty good
There's
actress.
other female characters, so I think.
Yeah, she's going to be there as the main female lead. Gaston is going to be Luke Evans, and I don't remember, I think it might be Ron Perlman is in some form of the Beast.
Well, of course it is.
Yeah.
Ron Perlman, he loves I think he just loves being non-Ron Perlman for a couple hours.
I was listening to quick aside, listening to Talk With It Rhythm podcast, and they were talking about Hellboy. Very interesting discussion about it, but they were choosing Hellboy, and they decided, like, on 1, 2, 3, say who you want to be Hellboy, both people said Ron Perlman. They were looking for, like, a digital mock-up of how to do Ron Perlman, and they have, as Hellboy, and they just happened to be working with a studio that already had his makeup because they worked on a Beauty and the Beast project, and were using him. So, it's a kind of case of, he's pretty much earmarked for this role from day one. I think we should maybe check IMDb before we say that he is it, but he should be it.
I'm pretty sure there was like a Beauty and the Beast like TV series a while back with quite a big name playing Belle, and I think it was Ron Perlman playing Beast, and he's completely unrecognisable.
Yeah.
Apart from like his massive chin always seems to be in it.
I'm pretty sure, I mean, if you look at the makeup of Beast, there's like a couple of things. I mean, Disney Princess, I thought was something like Converge, it's so often it's unreal. But if you look at the makeup of Beast from what he is, he's basically like a manticore in a bipedal form.
Yeah.
All he's missing is a scorpion or snake tail. But yeah,
Maybe he has that. Maybe we haven't seen his full bestial form.
Maybe that's his dick. Terrifying as all hell.
You see Belle like ripped up and just like, oh god, I thought the first night would be enjoyable.
I was gonna go with like you're just there and he's at the bathroom and you just kind of you're at a urinal and just kind of, oh hey man, whoa, like what the hell you got going on down there? It's just a giant snake dick.
Dude, what is wrong?
Whoa, a scorpion stinger for a dick. But yeah, your third gripe on the Hobbit movies.
Third gripe on the Hobbit, Smaug. Sorry, this is kind of a two-part gripe. The pronunciation of smog, it's smog, not smaug. Smog. Second part, he did not get enough screen time. They set him up, he had that really, really fucking awesome conversation with Bilbo, because Benedict Cumberbatch is another golden voice.
Yeah.
You could read the phone book, I fucking listened, I watched that movie. Really awesome conversation between him and Bilbo. Then, second part, or the first act in the third movie, he gets 5 minutes of screen time. Now that's him, gone.
I couldn't care less about your first part of his pronunciation.
It's just a little...
I was thinking, it's one of those things of just as a nitpick. The second part is a genuine gripe and concern because I quite like Smaug as well.
Yeah, Smaug was meant to be this big important dragon that could level most of everything if he got the chance to. But then he had so little screen time it was hard to see how imposing he was.
Regarding the first one, your first gripe, maybe it's because he'd been hidden away so long people forgot how to pronounce his name.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, half the dwarves involved in the movie have a very personal grudge. You'd think they'd remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe it's kind of those things of, it's like when we were talking about Vader for the Star Wars thing. He's supposed to be a badass. Please prove it. I'd love to watch 30 minutes of Smog just wrecking everything, just walking in and going, oh yeah, I'm like a 30-foot long dragon. Save about your town and house. Bye. And everything disappears.
Remember that guy who tried to shoot me with a black arrow? I'm gonna find his children and eat them. Why? Because I can. I'm motherfucking small.
Why? Because I could do with a light snack. Next up, your entire herd of elephants.
Gonna munch them all, wash them down with whatever the hell you have.
That's a weird one. I've always wondered, what do dragons drink? Can they drink alcohol?
You gotta imagine a drunk dragon would be a hell of a thing to deal with.
Yeah.
You pull off steel over everything. Even though that wouldn't help because dragon fire.
Yeah, dragon fire has, in theory would melt steel because, otherwise why be a dragon?
You gotta imagine like a group of lad dragons going up front out and like, mate, see that fucking building there that I can set on fire for here? Right, you owe me a kebab, set a building fire.
Just kebab the humans.
He extends his like index claw, skewers 3 humans. Right, there you go. 3 burnt kebab humans.
Yeah, I really enjoy those films, and Smog not getting enough screen time. I did really find a little bit of a nuisance about that because it was almost like 2 films worth of here it comes and then
there it went.
Yeah, here it comes and there it went.
I prefer these films almost over Lord of the Rings because Lord of the Rings I don't care about Frodo at all. I have more attachment. His story is the main story, but it almost feels like a side story.
Yeah.
Because he's taking the Ring of Mordor. You know he's going to come over he's going to hit some speed bumps. He's going to get there eventually. The story between Aragorn, Gimli, and Legolas is much more interesting story to me because they're trying to prevent country a war on a massive scale that will affect every single person in the general Middle Earth vicinity.
Same with Gandalf trying to play the machination. Like, he's trying to play his game against Sauron and then has to defeat Saruman, his old master, and then return to the game against Sauron.
And he's going to then join the ranks, the rank and file, and fight alongside the other people.
Merry and Pippin playing Dude Where's My Ent was kind of fun. They kind of wander off and do their own thing. I was okay with Frodo. I'm okay with Frodo and Gollum. I fucking love Gollum.
Yeah, Gollum's a really interesting character.
As a piece of CGI art, he's pretty damn good. There's a couple things, like if you look at his feet, it's really weird. During all those scenes, there's something wrong with his feet as far as CGI goes. But I'm okay with Frodo and I love Gollum. If Sam could fuck off, that'd be great. He's there for the Shelob scene, that's it. The entire thing, if Sam could just, bye-bye, nothing wrong with the actor. Perfectly fine with the name of the actor who played Sam. Sean Astin. But
he was the voice of Higgins. And the Hercules movie with James Woods, he was Higgins.
Shit.
Yep.
I'll be damned. Yeah, love that movie. But yeah,
more James Woods.
More James Woods. I think he was in the TV show as well. But if he could leave and not be Sam, that'd be great. But yeah, I did prefer seeing that movie. I'd love to see it just kind of happen with they have no idea what ends the final battle at the Gates of Mordor. And the thing is, all that, how do they know he's near to Mordor? I'm sure Gandalf has a vision or something.
Yeah, I think Gandalf, because there's this thing in the Lord of the Rings universe, Gandalf is something called an Istari, which is essentially like a deity that knows pretty much what's going to happen, but he has leeway in that sense, in the sense of he can affect the outcome.
It's not omnipotence, it's he can predict the rough outcomes, kind of.
Yeah.
He knows roughly if we do this, this will happen. He can see down the path further than most, and he sees like a kind of true vision of it. But it's a case of, wouldn't it be great if they just showed up and didn't know? They were just like, you know what, I fucking had it. Let's just go die at the Gates of Mordor, and they just kept trying to fight, and just orcs just kept pouring out.
I'd love to see the version of that film where Frodo's like, do this fire? I throw the ring into this fire?
Yeah,
I'm not sure. No one gave me instructions.
It's a realm of ash and smoke and fire, and he finds the one. I mean, it's the biggest mountain. You kind of assume it has to go in the biggest mountain. But wouldn't it be even funny if it was one of the things of, I dropped it in the wrong volcano? Fuck! Like,
dropped it in the wrong volcano. Frodo, sort your shit out.
The Eagles take him back to get back to Gondor, and it's worse than before because Sauron now has the ring, and Aragorn goes, "Did you throw the ring into the fire?" And he's like, yeah, I found the biggest mountain I could and tossed that fucker out. And he just turns and goes, "It was the wrong mountain." Oh my god! Just like hard cut to black, and just kind of that was the end of the series.
I hope I would make Frodo was just the laziest son of a bitch ever. And you see, he's like, "Oh, Sam and Frodo are finally on their way to Mordor. They will destroy this evil and free these lands forever." Then it gets to the bottom of the black gates, and there's just, okay, Frodo, destroy the ring now.
Frodo took a series of breaks and it just takes him longer and
There's just
longer.
an eagle that comes and drops off. And he goes, oh, sorry, dude, it's couldn't be bothered destroying the ring. I'm chilling and hobbit and coming in for second breakers.
Yeah.
Like, Frodo, sort of shit. There's 1,000 of us and 10,000 of them. Fuck.
Yeah.
And you see Sauron marching with Aragorn's head, Gimli's head, and Legolas's head in his mace. He's like, you caused this? And he's just like, if I give you the ring, can I join you? Sweet.
Do you think Sauron would have corporealized, I guess?
I thought that was the whole point of him getting the ring. So
Yeah, but I mean, without the ring. Do you think he would have managed to find someone? I mean, he's been existing for thousands of years.
I think he would have found a body, like possessed a body.
Because he can do that, I'm sure. I'm sure he's done it at some point.
I think
Like,
Sauron's powers are he can have any power he wants. Like Cartman in that episode of South Park. My power is I can have any power I want.
oh, the anime episode where it
Yeah.
randomly cuts to them and they're throwing ninja stars and it hits bars in the face.
Yeah. And they paint him up like a dog, so he's just like,
It's fine if we throw a ninja star at a dog, it's perfectly fine. Nobody's gonna have an issue with that as long as we just throw it at a dog.
we won't get in trouble with our parents if we hit a dog with a ninja star.
But if we hit a kid with a ninja star, we beat shit.
So yeah, he's the Eric Cartman of the Middle Earth universe. He can just have any power he wants, I think.
I wouldn't say he's that much of a dick.
He's a bit.
Yeah, he does murder quite a few big characters.
He creates an army 10,000 strong to beat an army 1,000 strong. He could have done that with 3,000.
But does that make him as much of a dick as Eric Cartman? I mean, he made a kid eat his own parents.
How funny would it be if someone takes his helmet off and it's Cartman underneath it?
Screw you guys, I'm taking the ring. Fuck you guys.
Screw you guys. And he just walks away like, just runs up and slaps Frodo a bit. You motherfucker. Just walks away.
Yeah, he just looks at the curly hair and makes an assumption and goes,
Give me a jugo.
yeah, give me your juggle to Frodo. Jesus Christ, that'd be a terrifying movie if it just suddenly, like, total 90-degree turn and just kind of, you know where this is going now. Eric Cartman is now Sauron.
The guy that the guy that we asked to make the Mark Wahlberg in charge film. Now go find your editor again, try and get him to make Lord of the Rings, but Cartman is Sauron.
Yeah.
That'd be fucking amazing.
You can just edit the last couple of minutes to have Eric Cartman's face replace the eye of Sauron.
Yeah.
And
Just
just
like
have
as the ring blinds, screw you guys.
yeah, I will.
As all his magic's just dispersing.
I've been watching a lot of bad video edits on YouTube, by the way, a lot of MLG videos. I don't know if you've seen this. The idea of MLG is it's Major League Gaming, if you don't know, it's competitive gameplay. And it can be quite interesting. However, there's a lot of kind of overreaction and a weird culture that's formed around it. And I don't like all of it, but I do find some of the really, really dumb stuff very funny. And just watching random, like, Thug Life and MLG videos has made my fucking week go by so much faster.
Oh, the Get Shrek stuff, that makes me piss myself every time. And somebody gets like a headshot and all, sees like the weird like world star music coming on, and all of a sudden like Shrek is just popping up on the screen. It's like 420 Get Shrek.
Yeah.
Shit's fucking gold.
It's weird that it seems to have kind of condensed in on itself and become more like what you think it is as a joke. But it just seems to be kind of really weird and like almost incestuous that the things keep breeding on top of each other. We're all birthing in a weird way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I had some monster on the way up here, because I'm still like getting off that tired thing. So I didn't get any sleep Friday night, I didn't get any sleep Saturday, and just, I got so much sleep today, like Sunday night onto today, that it was fucking. It's made me overtired. I could easily go back to sleep for another like 12 hours.
Yeah.
Fucking ridiculous.
I'm getting it off. Don't worry, this is all coming out.
Yeah.
And while we're doing stuff,
I'm just going to take this opportunity to swear my tits up. Ass cunt, balls, motherfucker, taint liquor.
I'm thinking of trying to cut a promo for like stuff that I've seen on his Facebook groups for like various I'll go play promos and stuff. But I kind of want to make ourselves like a little promo thing. I'm not sure how it'll work out. I think it's going to be really good.
Like a trailer?
Yeah, like 30 seconds, here's our show, deal with it. Stuff like the, taking a lot of bloopers, like the weird random drive-by by the fuckers
Alright.
on Lawnmower and just unswearing at that. And just trying to cut various bits and pieces. I think I've grabbed a couple like little bloopers that I've marked in the audio files and then just went, I'll see what happens if I mash these together.
So what do we leave it at?
It was basically just MLG gameplay footage. And it's weird how the culture seems to have bred in on itself. Do you want to segue into like YouTube gaming?
Yeah, sure.
I think it works.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay. I'm trying to write this in my head. Okay. I mean, part of the YouTube gaming experience is changing now because YouTube did actually launch their own gaming thing. It's like you just type in gaming.youtube.com and it takes you into more of a kind of live streaming session. I I'm pretty sure they're just going
Is this
straight
like some
up
kind of
Twitch.
mitosis between YouTube and gaming channels? All the gaming networks and channels just forming their own YouTube?
I think YouTube looked at Twitch and said, we want that live broadcast thing, and they tried to do it. At about E3, Rooster Teeth covered most of E3 from the show floor through YouTube. The streaming service wasn't great. Part of my problem with it was, unless I got a direct link into the stream, I could not fucking find it. It was on like 3 different Rooster Teeth channels that like Funhouse would be in their offices like covering it parody style. YouTube would have something promoting it, but you clicked the link and it didn't go anywhere. And then Rooster Teeth had apparently like live broadcast streams, but you couldn't find them. Like I literally spent ages looking at web pages trying to find the correct channel. Very, very strange. Couldn't quite figure it out, but I got there eventually. They now seem to have fixed a lot of that, like through how they display content. And gaming.youtube seems to be the live broadcast, but they also let you view YouTube channels through the same service. Kind of strange. I don't know exactly how it works. I'm looking forward to seeing it though.
Yeah, I'll have to take a look at it. Because to me, it just sounds if they're going to split it down the middle, say this is gaming, this is other content, it's going to just be a fuck ton of Minecraft. And as someone who doesn't play Minecraft, I'd be bored very quickly.
The right personality, you'd kind of enjoy watching Minecraft. I enjoy playing it in a weird way just because it's kind of weirdly soothing. I'd like to actually sit you down and make you play Minecraft.
Yeah.
Not make you, but more just kind of have you sit down and say, oh, we're just going to go do this thing, and we'll start. And I'll just kind of keep gauging your reaction to the game. It's weirdly enveloping. Like, you just start with a hand.
On my PC, and I have done some time, I've played about 40 minutes of it, but nothing in depth. I just run about smashing things.
I'd be very tempted to, I think part of it might be the PC control scheme's a bit fucked
No, I was
up.
using my controller.
Oh.
I just plugged in my Xbox controller and used it that way.
I'd be tempted to sit you down, I have it on PS4, and we'd sit down and just, it's a lot more casual that way. It'd make a very interesting stream. I'd love to do that on Twitch. The YouTube gaming thing seems to be kind of, you would have a lot of Minecraft content on there, but if you look, it's like looking at the Twitch menu right now. If you look at certain things are always on top, like there's always Counter-Strike Go gameplay going on.
League of Legends and Minecraft.
Fucking hell, League of Legends. Oof. I can't.
Speaking of League of Legends, you said you were going to try after Dota 2, you said you were going to try League of Legends.
I was willing to give it a go. I haven't found an opportunity to do it yet. I kind of need the time off to do it because I can't commit to it after work. 9 times out of 10 I go to the gym.
Yeah.
So I'll want to go to the gym instead of just coming home and playing video games. I'll probably hit Darkest Dungeons before that. If I was looking at League of Legends, and this sounds really strange, at the end of August, I'd maybe get to it in November. That's my next time I have solid time off where I'd be able to sit down and say, okay, now I'm going to play League of Legends. And it's a bit of a shame, but we were recording on one on Monday, Tuesday. It's now going to be more Mondays than Tuesday from now on because you're going to college.
Yeah. If we do have an interview on Tuesday, it will probably just be a solo cast. Because doing an HND in legal, doing an HND in law, I'll probably have quite a lot of my time taken up by that.
So I'd realistically get to League of Legends at about November. So when we forget about that, someone remind us.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Just put up on the Twitter page at Gibberpish, play League of Legends, and say whoever you want to play League of Legends.
Yeah. I was watching a friend of ours play Twitch streaming, I think it was the Dungeon Defender 2.
Yeah, he's got a community involved in that, and they like corroborate themselves and say, right, you stream this time, I'll take over from this. It's a huge fucking operation.
Yeah, it's part of one of those networks, and Argic, who's our friend, who gave us feedback on the show, runs a really good stream. Yeah, really good friend of us in real life. More to the point, but he runs a very good show, and I was watching him playing Dungeon Defenders. He may have broken the game by finding it. You can have a flamethrower tower. And in a game where you're defending against hordes of enemies, a flamethrower tower is as overpowered as it sounds. Very fun to watch though for a little bit, and then it becomes a case of, hi, he's just gonna win everything. Okay, I'll watch it, but it'll be in the corner, and I'll go watch something else as
I
well.
wonder if you could get a shotgun tower, just like your frontline defense is just a shotgun tower, so nothing can get close.
A
Like
great
a grape
shot tower,
shot.
yeah. You gotta pretend it's fantasy.
It'd be a great shot.
Somehow steampunk, technologically advanced, but still fantasy. So a grape shot would kind of be the medium of murder in that case. Yeah, but I watched some other streams, like I watched some big name cosplayers that I don't know a name, but the chat is a mess. I quite enjoy the chatting community that develops around certain Twitch streamers. I have some personal favourites of mine, like I just like going and seeing the same chat names pop up again and again. Kind of fun to interact with the same people while watching the same show. It's kind of like when you talk to someone about Game of Thrones, you go, you see the episode and you know what that person thinks about certain characters, so you have that kind of conversation, like a continuation of the same thing of, yeah, I liked how this character was, but I don't like this one. But you have this about someone playing gameplay, and it's nice to see the same people, but when you come to certain chat sizes, ridiculous. Just the thing is a mess. I can't see any real value about it, especially when half of it is being banned because the streamer involved is female and it was given various gifts through nature and genetics or by plastic surgeons, depending who you listen to.
Huge titties.
We're trying to swing around that, but yeah, sure, go for it. But you can see certain messages getting deleted, and every time you can click on a message deleted to reveal it, 9 times out of 10 it was tits, it's just somebody yelling about tits in the chat, and it's
Like I just did.
yeah, it sounds like Dom just yelling tits over and over in your head. Yeah, it's a shame to see it used like that, but you know.
If you're gonna put yourself out there on a Twitch stream, because it's a kind of a daunting thing to do. If you don't have as much confidence and you think, alright, I'm going to do a Twitch stream, I'm going to see how it goes. That little one shitty comment can mean more to you, or can affect you more than 1,000 good comments.
Yeah.
If you use all this good feedback, and all of a sudden you get, show more tits why don't you, or fucking hell, look, like put more makeup on you, look a mess. That can hurt you way more than any good comment can help you, and that could be a make or break moment for certain people, especially cosplayers. Because cosplayers, I'm not saying they need a lot of positive feedback, or like a lot of positivity, but it's always nice to hear that little, oh yeah, your costume is pretty good. They're used to all this positivity, so a little bit of negativity might affect them a lot more.
Yeah, they do thrive on a very kind of community positive atmosphere, and then having to jump into toxicity of the internet.
Which isn't something that someone deserves when they just try to share their love of something online. And I'd be fine with it if they were just being greeted with criticism of their gameplay or content, but this is really just harassment at this point. I kind of want to avoid the topic because I'm watching it really build into a chance for the online people to bash girl gamers and just blame Twitch for it all, which isn't really the issue. It's more just the fact that some of these people are horrible people online. Like, just it's an outbreak of people just backlashing at female gamers and using Twitch as an excuse. And it's a shame.
There was always that like sexist nature when it comes to women playing games, but I mean, if they like the game, leave them alone. Who gives a fuck? They're doing what they're doing. If they're having fun with it, don't fucking bring them down just because they're female. Yeah. I know a lot of women that could personally kick my ass at video games. I'm not going to be a sexist prick to them. I'm going to be annoyed that they kick my ass at the video game. I'm not going to make fun of them for it.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things. We started with a kind of list of things we would talk about. I think I really want us to move down the list to something else other than female Twitch streaming, because it does get pretty dicey.
Yeah, there's a lack of preparation on one side of this because I've spent the weekend away in Inverness. I have nothing planned. I'm just trying to riff off the top of my head here.
You were visiting a friend up in Inverness and didn't get to go hill walking again.
I did not. Right, my friend he's a pre-reg optometrist up in Inverness, and he gets more. I think he may get more credits toward his final grade the more eye exams he does. So he booked in me and 3 other of my friends to get free eye exams. And I said to the people that I went up with, I said, right, we'll go for the eye exams. It shouldn't take too long. Say 2 hours. We'll go and get some food. Then we'll head to the Cairngorms. We'll go to some hill walking. No, there's a little bookshop I want to go to. I want to go to Waterstones. There's a HMV. There's a game. There's this clothes shop I want to go to. Like, but the Cairngorms, we have lush green Scottish scenery to go, and it's sunny. Let's go hill walking. No, there's no bookshop I want to go to. Motherfucker. So I spent about 2 hours doing like the friend thing. The minute the Scotland game came on, I was like, fuck this, I'm going to find a pub, get some form of non-alcoholic beverage and just watch this game for 2 hours. Did not move from that pub for 2 hours. And we beat Italy 48-7. Scotland.
You're enthusiastic about the Scotland game, and I'll let you run like hell on that.
Yeah.
But I do want to ask, when new book smell is one of the best smells in the world, that's scientifically factual. There's no way to disprove that.
It wasn't new book smell. This was musty old book.
When you have new book smell, old book smell, why would you give a flying fuck about that?
I have no idea. No, because it was rare old books that you would never find like this side of eBay in a store, but it was some really, really rare books that they were bringing back. I was like, oh, I got Arabian Nights, all the stories of the Arabian Nights. It was a really nice book, to be fair, but I was just thinking all that time you're spending there, we could have been doing something, fun, like walking through the lush Scottish green scenery.
For those of you who don't know, the Cairngorms are some of the most cinematic scenery in Scotland. It's absolutely just lush.
And I've never seen it outside of a picture because to this day, still not been hill walking up there. Disappointed about that.
Anyone else? I can see where this conversation is going, and it's pretty much heading towards, I would like to go walking in the Cairngorms. You would like to go walking in the Cairngorms. This seems like, road trip material.
Could be, but none of us drive, so it might get expensive.
Train trip material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's spend 90 quid on train tickets and go to Cairngorm.
Yeah, trains up to Aberdeen, pretty impressively pricey.
Yeah.
Like it though. It's a fun, like I really enjoy the train up north.
Yeah.
I like trains. I'm not like a weird, I like trains person. But
You're not a train spotter.
being on a train for, train spotters are fucking weird. Like,
Yeah.
I waited 90 minutes in the fucking rain for a certain model of a certain car going past. That's just terrifying.
I just think it's weird. I applaud them for being that invested in something, but the fact that you know when the train going to Dunblane, where it changes, where it stops, what kind of petrol it uses, or what kind of fuel it uses, if it's an electric, if it's diesel, the exact model of train. See if you took all the time that you wasted learning all the specifics of that train, and focused it more on
Cancer.
your work.
You could cure cancer.
You could cure cancer with that level of commitment.
You're saying you applaud them for that level of intelligence. I applaud them for not getting into murder. That could end horribly. That level of just knowledge of one certain thing, if applied to murder, would result in just thousands dead.
Yeah, if you were that meticulous about murder, someday would have to take you down at some point.
I mean, I'm sure at certain points in the podcast we've said, just do you, just you be you.
Yeah.
It's fine, just do what you want to do. Maybe don't do train spotting.
Yeah, train spotting leads on to bigger and better, weirder things that might include murder, so don't be a train spotter. Watch the film Train Spotting, that's about as much train spotting as you should do.
And that's nothing to do with spotting trains.
It's a fucking great film.
Unless, a train is somehow a unit of measurement for heroin.
Might be. In some kind of Edinburgh,
Edinburgh
parlance, it might be.
It does seem like you would sit there and go, I just did 3 carriages of heroin. Like, you go, wow, that's some good train spotting. Good on you. Like, that seems like it might kind of work as a weird way of saying things. But you saw the Scotland game and got very enthusiastic about it before we started recording.
Yes. I almost got asked to leave the pub in Inverness because I was getting that enthusiastic about it. Scotland, as a country, do not excel at sports. Maybe outside of certain things, we don't really excel at sports.
We taught the Brazilians football, but after that, fucked it up.
Yeah, we taught the Brazilians football, but then they realised they're much better at football than us. The student became the master at that point. But me and Colin are both rugby players, both rugby fans. I'm not sure if you keep up with rugby as much. Like, you don't really watch as many games.
I have a drinking problem, and therefore use the time some people watch rugby to drink. So I don't pay as much attention as I should. It comes up more often at work nights out. Like, a lot of people who work are big rugby fans and just don't like football.
Yeah, I think it's just the options in most Scottish primary schools are you can have this round ball, or you can have this egg-shaped ball, and you can hit people.
That's never at primary school level. I don't think you'd be allowed to give kids at primary school level, which is roughly, some people don't have the same education system, which I learned by having an English guest a couple days ago talking about the English education system. I think it's fucked. They looked at our system and went, how could we make that more confusing? But primary school is if you start at like preschool and kindergarten, or preschool and nursery is what we call it. Kindergarten sounds a lot better. But you start at like age 4, and then primary school ends at about 12. If you did nursery, because you nursery and then primary 1 through to 7. But if you do preschool then nursery, it's like 3 to 12. Right. Roughly about there, but obviously your birth date would fuck that up. You can then kind of change things around, but you would not be allowed to hand kids at that age a rugby ball, I don't think.
Yeah, you can start playing rugby.
But you'd be playing touch rugby.
Yeah, still rugby.
No, it's not.
It's still rugby.
It teaches them the rules of real rugby.
Yeah, that's good. Well, touch rugby now is a warm-up for other, it's a warm-up before you go into the actual full contact game. But yeah, touch rugby is still, you still get like touch rugby tournaments and...
I've just thought about that. That's genius.
What?
That's fucking, kind of Machiavellian level genius. You make people play touch rugby for years, and then just as the hormones start kicking in at puberty, you say, okay, now you can be violent to people. Fucking sold. I love that. At the age of 13, you get told, right, you can now nail that guy. You can just absolutely destroy his knees. I'm going for it.
That's why I used to like playing rugby, because I was always that kid. I bought into the whole emo subgenre, and I was fucking so angry. Then rugby came along and the emo fringe disappeared, and I was like, yeah. What did you do this weekend? I sat around listening to Cradle of Filth and got sad. I was like, I put on my little mythical rugby strip and went and murdered some guy. It was awesome. Became the most well-adjusted 13-year-old ever.
I impaled someone with my forehead. How did you do this weekend?
Take off my scrum cap. See that red splodge? That's when I hit somebody.
It's awesome. Yeah, the Scotland rugby game though.
Yeah, the Scotland rugby. Going back to that, right? We don't excel at sports. We do well at football occasionally. We done fucking really well at rugby this weekend.
We haven't done well at... The best thing we did at soccer was on my 10... Was it one of my birthdays? Was on one of the World Cup days. We played Brazil and won by a point. We won by 1 goal. That was it. We beat Brazil somehow on my birthday, 10th of June, at some point. I think it was the 98 World Cup. I'm not sure, but it was pretty much one of the last games I watched.
Maybe.
So I left on a high.
Yeah. I know we don't. Scotland never usually get past the I think it might be the pool for actually advancing into the proper World Cup, not just like the test matches before.
Yeah, you do qualifiers, the table type thing where you're playing against 4 teams, and then you go into knockout.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever really excelled past the knockout. Never really done well at football. But Scotland as a rugby team, we always lose our games, but in recent years we have done a lot better. Like, it's always been a shorter margin.
Yeah.
That's maybe like a couple points between it, maybe a conversion or a single try between it, like 5 points or 2 points between it. But this weekend we played Italy and we absolutely fucking destroyed them. They scored 1 converted try, which is 7 points. We scored 48 points. We absolutely annihilated them. It's always good when you see intercepted tries, which is when the ball from the opposition 10, who essentially he feeds the ball out for the back of the ruck.
Yeah.
So tackle's been made, ball's on the ground. It's the 9 or 10's job to feed the ball back out into play. So the ball comes back out into play from 9 straight to 10. The Italian 10 then goes to try and pass it to the 12. I think it might have been winger Tim Visser comes straight in, intercepts the try and scores like a fucking 60-metre try. Runs half the length of the fucking pitch and scores a try.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. So I go, fucking brilliant. I'm on Scotland. I'm like shouting, Scotland. Fucking bar manager comes over, says to me, you're going to need to calm down. No one's getting as enthusiastic as you. I'm like, aye, that's because everyone's here to watch the fucking football. Alright, go, I'll quiet down. He scores the same try again. Intercept. Halfway across runs the full length of the pitch, scores a try right underneath the post to make it an easy conversion. I'm like, fuck yeah, dancer, that's it, we've won. No way Italy are coming back. Scotland. Bar manager comes up, finish your drink and get out. I'm like, no, I apologise, I'll keep it calm. And then every time they scored a try, he looked over at me, kind of leaned over the bar and looked at me. I was like, zip mouth, throw away key, not saying anything. I'll just quietly sip my lime and soda and just watch the game.
It's one of the things that the intercepted try is so good because it always starts so horribly for your team. You can see them marching forward down the pitch. It becomes very tense, and then suddenly the ball's in the air. Your guy has it, and then there's almost like a bang, like gunshot of just kind of movement down the field. And everyone the chaos of realising, wait, we don't have the ball anymore. Who has the ball? That guy has the ball and he's got a 10-metre head start. Shit! And then there's like an all-out race straight for the pitch, and it's just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, there's always that in this case it was like, that's that white blur. Holy shit, that's one of us. We have the ball. Holy fuck, we scored a try.
It looks like if you've ever been like playing soccer at maybe like about 10, 15 years of age, where you're not really playing the game in formation, you're just following the ball around. It becomes kind of like that. Everyone is just trying to get behind or stop the ball, and it becomes almost kind of, it's like a 90-mile-an-hour scrum. Fantastic. But it's just one guy going, I'm taking it to the hole, and just running flat out.
It was an awesome day to be Scottish.
Quick aside of taking it to the hole, Michael Jordan's jumper from Space Jam is now going up for auction. I want that. I can't afford it, but I want that.
Can I say something pretty controversial?
Yeah.
Didn't like Space Jam.
If you don't like Space Jam, it's fine. It's like a dumb movie. You're not.
Is it because of the Michael Jordan thing, or just a huge Looney Tunes fan?
I wasn't. I was a Michael Jordan fan.
Oh right.
I played basketball in high school, and you can't like basketball without liking Michael Jordan. Yeah. But at the same time, it was a fun, dumb movie. I'd love to see more. They are maybe going for a second one with LeBron James and Looney Tunes again. Just as a kind of, not quite a remake, but a modernization, but also a sequel.
Kind of like what they did with The Thing, how the first one was the Kurt Russell one. Then they done the second one, which was supposedly a reboot, but it was really just a prequel.
I don't like prequel culture, but I
thought it was pretty good. Because it had the chick from Scott Pilgrim in it, the chick that played Ramona Flowers, and I'd watch her do anything.
Yeah.
Very fucking hot.
But I just don't like prequel culture. Weirdly enough, I really like Prometheus, but I just don't like prequel culture.
A lot of people shat on Prometheus a bit unfairly. I thought it was a good film. Really good film.
We're going to get our heads ripped off for this because we will enjoy a good movie, and then just watching this weird drama of nightmares unfolding for people, and then having it be around some of the biggest monsters in the history of,
film.
Yeah.
Just fantastic.
There's one thing I never really agreed with when, like, if you like something, if Colin, you're a huge fan of the Hobbit film.
Yeah.
I'm not as big a fan. I will never go up to Colin and say, you're fucking wrong. You're a piece of shit. Why do you like the Hobbit films? I'll be like, nah, they weren't my thing. But fair enough, you like them. I'm never want to be, unless it's something that I absolutely despise, like Sailor Moon. If someone comes up to me and goes, I love Sailor Moon, I'll be like, you're a 24-year-old man. Why the fuck are you watching Sailor Moon?
It's just one of the things that we're trying to, against the internet's kind of anonymity-inspired madness, we really want to promote that kind of just you do you mentality.
Like the kind of net neutral thing, but not quite as neutral as Obama wants it to be.
No, net neutrality is a whole other thing. Like, fucking don't even go there.
Yeah.
If you want to talk American politics, we're gonna talk Trump. Like, let's be honest. But net neutrality is a genuine issue, and it belongs in its own corner. Educate yourselves about that. I think it's safe for now.
Yeah,
but
I think it is safe. I think they're not going to pass any weird laws that allow it. No.
The second net neutrality comes up again, look into it and educate yourselves about it. That's all I'm going to say about it, is because it could have some serious impact.
It does seem a bit like a honeypot that we're just going to open it and it's going to be 2 hours of the podcast.
Oh no, it's not going to be
honeypot.
honeypot. It's going to be Pandora's box.
Yeah,
but
that's what I was looking for. Pandora's box.
I do want to put it that Trump is still in the news. Still, I mean, this thing is, I am aware of the American view of things in the political spectrum of that Trump is a joke. Like, he's running for president, he's filled out the paperwork, he's not going to make it to the actual start of the race. This is not the race itself. You are looking at people warming up before a 1 kilometer sprint, basically. It is a long distance to go. He won't make it. It's almost like a 1 kilometer hurdles race. He won't. The hope is that he doesn't make it past that first hurdle. That'd be great for humanity. It's a case of he won't make it to the end of the race. Don't worry about it. It's kind of a joke at this point. The actual Republican candidates are just kind of sitting back, making small statements and doing little bits of warm up. This isn't the race. This is people stretching before the race. Trump is just going all out. This happens every year. Like Mitt Romney's main opponents at this point, like 4 years ago, were insane people. I'm pretty sure Trump was there before again. I'm sure he put himself forward last election cycle. But Trump being mad is just Trump being Trump and doesn't have to be a thing. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, they could pick worse. I don't think they could pick a worse president if he actually wins the election, which I don't think he will. I think you get a lot of people just going, fuck this, leaving America, don't want to be a part of this country anymore.
Well, they said that about Obama.
Yeah.
The gay marriage thing as well. People were threatening to burn themselves alive and leave the country to Canada, weirdly enough, where gay marriage was legalised like 11 years ago.
America could learn a lot from Canada. Canada seems pretty chill about most things, but America was just like, no, we have to do this. Guns and straight marriage.
It's because they're part of the Great British Empire, forged by Her Majesty. They didn't rebel. They have a different mentality to the American mentality, and it's their own thing. Shout out to Canada, where quite a few of our listeners come from.
From Canada, eh?
From Canada, eh? We've done this shtick before, but I do
What's
enjoy the kind of flippy mouth, kind of the Canadian bobblehead from South Park. I just love that. I lose my shit just to be able to do that voice properly. But yeah, it's a thing of, don't worry about Trump. It does seem kind of scary to see this guy getting so much news attention, but remember the elections are in 2016.
Yeah.
And it's a while away. He's a long time away from ever getting close to actually being president. It's the kind of, if you imagine the election of the US president as being like a rocket going off, this is the main burner going off, where there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of flash, but eventually those rockets are going to just fall off. Yeah. And at the end we are left with what will eventually become a president.
I don't think we really even need to worry about... I think D's nuts has more chance of becoming president than fucking Trump.
And he was just debunked.
Really?
It's a 15-year-old from Iowa. I shit you not. It's like a 15-year-old kid from a state, and you need to be 35 to be president. It's a shame he got debunked, because it was really, really funny to have D's nuts polling and doing pretty decently. I think he was hitting up to about 8 to 9%, and I don't know why he hit that high, but some polls in certain states labelled him at 8 to 9%.
You gotta think that's a lot of frat kids down in America just going, who are you voting for? Oh, D's nuts, backing that guy.
They didn't know D's nuts was a candidate, they just kind of were doing a thing, and then somebody realised a guy called D's nuts had filled in paperwork.
He's like, yeah, I'm a real guy, my name is Derek Nuts, but I call myself D's.
Yeah, maybe it was D, like Derek, and then E's Nuts was the second name. D's Nuts.
He just shortened his name to E's Nuts.
Yeah, my second name is E's Nuts, but yeah, the whole thing is D's Nuts. But yeah, that guy got debunked, and unfortunately it's a 15-year-old who managed to get into something. I don't know how he managed to get himself on the polls,
I mean, you've got to fill out some pretty extensive paperwork to be considered for presidential candidacy in America, but it was a weird thing of, there's a candidate called These Nuts who's not an accident, like he is actually naming himself as These Nuts, and has just filled in the paperwork to become the US president, and has just managed to get something like 8 to 9% of the polling audience in a certain state. I'm pretty sure Carolina was mentioned at some point, and just various people around that kind of Mason-Dixon line. I think Iowa was mentioned, which is up north, but it was a lot of central states they polled, and These Nuts came out with about 8% of the audience agreeing that These Nuts should be president.
Shit.
Terrifying.
Yep, the fact that well, then again, we've got the monster raving loony party over here, and the leader of that party wears a welly on his head, like a Wellington boot.
Is it still Screaming Lord Sutch?
Yes.
Screaming Lord Sutch is just insane, but it's stuff like it's not even like, oh, he's being out of left field, it's a case of he wants to tax buttons.
Yeah.
That's the level of that's what he thinks is a political joke, but he's running as a protest vote in everything.
One of his manifestos was he wanted to give everyone a $5 a week, and he wanted to have a trampoline in every garden by the end of like 2020 or something.
Yeah, it was, I think it was Kennedy's speech of a chicken in every pot or something like that, and he was like, no, a trampoline in every yard.
Trampoline in every garden, a $5 in every wallet, and free soup on Wednesdays. Why not?
I don't know how they run things for the actual election notices, like when it comes to who wins a seat, but in the UK we have various seats, like an area that you would control or an area you would represent as an MP, and you stand there, all the candidates stand on a line, basically as they're announced at a press conference, and they tally the votes, they read them out loud saying, the Conservatives got 2,000 votes, the Lib Dems got 500 votes, the Labour Party got 3,500 votes, and then the Monster Raven Lunar Party got 40 votes. And it just kind of becomes like, that guy is there for a joke, and he's there wearing a silly hat, a massive like flower, like just something to set him aside as being a genuine lunatic. Yeah. And you gotta
think if he ever got in, he'd just be like, fuck, I was on the run as a joke, I don't have anything to give to politics.
His genuine, I think it's like a weird party policy that whenever the winner is announced, the member of the Monster Raven Looney Party should be the first person to shake the winner's hand and be an absolute like kind of monstrous handshake. Like you start at the face and you shake down to the waist and up and down and up and down and just kind of, oh, congratulations, and you just are there to take the piss out of the entire political system. It's probably the only politics I hope we talk on the show is Donald Trump and the Monster Raven Looney Party. But remember that he kind of is that candidate. He is there
almost as a joke.
Yeah, and it's one thing that some people don't see is that when it comes to these political conferences where you see like a couple hundred people cheering for Donald Trump, that's set up by Donald Trump's people. I wouldn't be too worried about it. Obviously, as soon as the name comes up on the ballot, start voting against it because he seems a bit odd and not quite altogether. But
I think odd might be a bit of an understatement.
Yeah.
But getting into the minutiae and the thoughts behind why he's fucking mental is a podcast in of itself.
I did hear one quote that I want to say, and he was on The View talking about the fact that his daughter was considering a Playboy shoot, and he said at one point, my daughter has a nice figure. If she wasn't my daughter, I'd probably be dating her. Yeah. If you want to listen to a genuine interpretation of that, the episode of the Harmontown podcast called Awe features like 3 comedians breaking that statement down, and it's fucking hilarious. I was busting the gut listening to it in the walk home last night, and you just can't go wrong with Donald Trump fucking up a statement in front of The View, basically.
I have no idea what The View is. Is that an American TV show?
I don't know if we have an equivalent over here, but
is that like that kind of loose women shit?
Loose women, yeah, that's our equivalent of it. It's the female perspective on current issues, frequently featuring someone plugging a book or a movie or something like that.
Sounds like a right.
As far as plugging stuff goes, I saw a clip this morning of Hugh Jackman surprising a kid with cystic fibrosis. Horrible condition. Go Google it if you want to have nightmares. But they had Hugh Jackman surprise one of his fans through Make-A-Wish Foundation, and he shows up wearing basically just normal clothes, but he surprises the kid in the studio and they catch him completely off guard, and it's fucking hilarious. See this little kid go, oh my god, Wolverine's in the studio. It's pretty much the same reaction I imagine you would have as a Wolverine fan.
Yeah.
To just having Hugh Jackman show up and go, hey kid, what's up? And just
Wolverine.
But speaking of surprising fans, did you know that Borderlands might be getting a movie?
I heard something on the internet, but a lot of people said, oh, it's been getting a movie for a while, so I just kind of dismissed it, to be honest. I didn't read too far in it.
I'm looking forward to this. Borderlands has quite a lot of potential. For those of you who don't know, it's a first-person shooter game about... It's got RPG elements. It's about people looking for a vault of treasure. An unknown vault containing something. I don't want to spoil the game, so I won't say what the vault contains. But the idea is that you're bounty hunters travelling through space. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the game. You're a fan, right? You said
I played the whole fuck it of Borderlands 2. Played all the DLC, like ranked up to the maximum 2 or 3 characters. Mainly choose the Siren in Borderlands 2.
The Sirens can be quite overpowered. The idea is that these are kind of like psycho people.
Yeah.
Who...
Ridiculously strong characters.
Yeah. A lot of people who played the first one didn't like the second Siren because you were kind of limited, but I could see the potential there. You can like freeze people in space.
In the first one you had phase walk.
Yeah, that was brutal. You just kind of cut a straight line and just murdered everyone.
Yeah, you tapped into your phase abilities and you covered yourself in phase energy and walked in a straight line, damaging every single person in front of you. And then you can upgrade it further and add poison damage, toxic damage, fire damage, any other type of damage like lightning damage, and just walk through these people, hitting them with phase damage and elemental damage at the same time, wrecking their shit.
Phase being the kind of settings normal word for like magic, basically.
Yeah.
You just show up, you cut a line through it, and everyone within a foot of you being touched gets a lot of damage. Really fun, really interesting character. Breaks it up from the usual first-person shooter elements.
I preferred the phase lock in the second one because you hit them with a phase bubble and suspended them mid-air. If you had a really powerful weapon like a submachine gun or like a sniper rifle, you could just blast the living fuck out of them and they'd be stuck there for 15 seconds.
And the idea is that Borderlands should really be played as a multiplayer experience, either online. I think you can do some co-op in-house.
No, there's no couch co-op to it. It's all online stuff.
I'm sure I played the Zombie Island, Dr. Ned, or Dr. Zed.
No, actually, you're right. I do apologise.
Because I
There
played
is
it with my
offline.
brother.
Yeah, me and my brother played it as well. You can play it offline.
We getting a movie could work. I love to see it. It could be basically the way that kind of Star Wars, the first movie that was made, isn't really a sci-fi movie. It's an old west movie in a sci-fi setting. You could totally pull that off within the Borderlands world.
It's just it would work if they don't go too heavy on the story elements. If they just do it as these bounty hunters have found the biggest score ever and they're just trying to fight tooth and nail to get it, if they do it that way I think it might work. But if they go into the whole Hyperion backstory a bit too early, if they made a sequel, they could then bring in all the Hyperion stuff.
Hyperion is a company, a weapons manufacturer in the series, and they've actually been covered by the whole Handsome Jack collection, the Telltale games. Handsome Jack collection is the second game. Yeah, the re-release of the second game, and the pre-sequel, Borderlands. Yeah, Borderlands the pre-sequel. And then you have the Handsome Jack story through the Telltale games of the Borderlands series, where you discover why the main character is an absolute psychopath, who started as just a weapons engineer who kind of cutthroats his way at the top of the company. And it's a very interesting character, very, very enjoyable world. I really like it, except Claptrap. I would throw that fucker off. Like, it's one of the things that you could save, this lovable game character, or you could save a puppy. The puppy is safe. Don't worry about the puppy. I am throwing Claptrap off the building every time.
You can, in the pre-sequel, you can play as Claptrap.
Yeah, I think he's one of the characters.
He picks up the Siren role, I think.
It got to the point where the internet backlash for the Claptrap character, who talks in a high-pitched voice and is very just irritating on purpose. You play a part of the story where you can just murder hordes of Claptraps. Claptrap's Robot Revolution, I think was the name of it.
Yeah, for Borderlands 1.
Pull out the machine gun and just shoot that robotic fucker in the face for hours.
I don't have anything against Claptrap. I thought he was pretty funny.
I found him really annoying. Just a kind of stereotype annoying video game character. Kind of the, like in the Zelda games, you get that little ball of light that follows you around.
You get your fairy, Navi, who just goes, hey, listen, for fucking the entire game.
Hey, listen! Hey, I got something for you! Hey, pay attention!
And you can't turn that little son of a bitch off.
Fuck you! Like, he's that character, but in a robot voice, which I found very grating.
Just to touch on the Zelda thing for a minute, they tried to make it better. Because Navi was just, hey listen, master, hey listen. Then you go to Midna from Twilight Princess. She didn't like say, you need to listen to me. You just hear a little giggle every so often, and that was her sign that she wanted to talk to you. And that was fine. Midna was fine because she was helpful. She had abilities when you turned into a wolf, because Link can turn into a wolf in Twilight Princess. She was your method of attacking. She could do this big area of effect thing and then cause you to like dart between all the different targets.
Right.
and she could open up different portals and stuff for you. It was pretty cool. Midna was helpful, but then you go to Skyward Sword, and you have the Spirit of the Master Sword called Fee, who's the most annoying son of a bitch ever. She speaks in some kind of weird made-up language, made up for the game, and every 5 seconds she has something irrelevant to fucking say. Master, your Wii remote batteries are low. I know, let me fucking play the game. Master, you're not using the sword correctly. Shut the fuck up, Fee, and let me get on with this game.
The Wii remote thing seems like a helpful kind of meta game. Well, not meta game, but breaking the fourth wall, which is really kind of a video game.
It was helpful
sin.
the first time, but when she's saying that every 5 fucking minutes until you replace the batteries, pain in the balls.
I can see that being useful, but then saying you're not using the master, basically just turning you suck at this game. You know, do you know how to play this thing? We tried teaching you, but I don't know what you're doing right about this thing, but it fucking sucks. I'd see that as being really, really horrible and just a complete game breaker. But I see Claptrap on that same level. I just fucking hate that character. Getting to shoot hordes of him, although it was kind of funny to see him dressed as a pirate coming out with a cutlass, and you just nail him with a machine gun. I enjoyed the series, and
It's always that game that I've played with my brother in every iteration, because we played the first one and he played as Roland, the soldier.
rolling for the win.
And I didn't have to do anything. I just stood back and occasionally phase walked
Right.
and blew things up. But then it flash forward to Borderlands 2 when Gordon played as Axton, the commando, who's essentially the soldier character. He didn't have to do anything because I was dealing all the damage. I gave my Siren an ability called Slag Orb, where she fires an orb of slag, which they're iridium runoff, because they're trying to mine something called iridium, which is a very rich and rare ore. And as they're mining it, all the runoff from the machine gets manifested as this thing called slag, which deals constant damage to the player. And I fire a massive orb of them.
It also weakens you to elemental damage from other elements.
Yeah.
So like you can't do extra damage from slag damage, but you slag someone to using air quotes for slag. You hit them with this slag orb, and then they take electricity damage or they take poison damage, and it's very helpful to have someone in your one person in the group is throwing out slag damage, everyone else is nailing them with electricity. I played commando and soldier classes. I felt like they really hampered the commando class in the second one, assuming they're basically a carry on of the first one.
I think they made Axton much more powerful than Roland, because Roland had one turret that could heal you, it could rebuff your ammo, whereas you've got Axton who's got 2 massive turrets, and if you upgrade them right, you can give it all elemental damage, you can give it 1 slag turret, you can give it homing missiles, you can give it ammo replenishment.
You can give it homing nukes.
You can give it ammo replenishment, you can give it health replenishment, and you can give it a bubble shield that lasts for as long as the thing is up. And if you kill enemies without using the turret, using your rifle, the turrets stay up for longer. Axton is stupidly overpowered in Borderlands 2.
I find that I didn't want to go down the turret route, because I played the turret route. I played the turret route in the first one and really enjoyed being part of like a kind of tactical setup of, okay, we have to fight this boss, I'm going to throw the turret there and he'll cover this area, we'll work within this area to heal and stuff, while other people draw damage and move around the map. And it became very interesting tactically because I was playing with someone else. Playing solo as Axton was a lot harder because the character needed to be buffed in certain ways. You can go down certain skill trees and make yourself very good on the turret, very good as a soldier shooting people, or very good at, I think it was healing for some reason, because you're the kind of supply character.
No, Axton, he could replenish your ammo, but the healer was definitely the Siren. I can't remember her name. Lilith was...
Lilith is the first one.
First Siren. I think it might be... It's a name that begins with an L, but the name escapes me. But she was the healer because she had Roland's ability from Borderlands 1 where she could shoot you with a gun and heal you.
Right.
And she could also resurrect you, because when in Borderlands, if you fall, you have like 15 seconds to be revived by a teammate, or you can just go back to the insta-spawn and pay however much money you got from that area.
It was a percentage of your total earnings.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Yeah, so you could accept an instant revive for percentage gains, which became very funny. I know people who played that game so much they maxed out the number of credits you could earn and kept going. You could earn like 9999999, like 10 digits or something like that, and keep going, and your total would continue basically indefinitely, but the display wouldn't change, and they would respawn or they would die, which was a rare occurrence. But when they died, the respawn cost them so many thousands of pounds or so many thousands of credits. They still didn't lose any money. Fucking horrific level of gameplay, but it's really funny to watch.
Yeah.
It's going to make a great movie if they get it right. It's one of the things,
Especially if they get the humour right, because Borderlands is a very funny game.
yeah, very interesting thing. And the discussion then becomes, who do you play certain characters? I don't want to see characters from the movie series. I'll be okay with it if they do that, but I'd love to see the world of Borderlands do new characters.
You mean like new versions of the old characters, like new
Completely new. Like, you do the same kind of archetypes of
like sniper, scout,
the
all that shit.
soldier, the brute, the sneaky guy, and the siren, the person who's kind of afflicted and gifted with the special abilities of this universe, being the phase abilities, and then have them do something against the Hyperion Corporation, because at the end of the first one they find a map to all the other vaults and all the other places you could find a shit ton of treasure, and it's a galaxy of just money waiting to be opened up. I want almost nothing to do with that in the first couple of games, or the pre-sequel as well. I'll be perfectly happy with them doing that. You can't, lose my ticket at this situation. I'm gonna go see this movie, but I do want to see something new within the world.
What I would like to see, I'd like to see the Vault Hunters that came before the known Vault Hunters. I'd like to see, go complete prequel, show us what happened to them, why they failed.
Yeah, because that's part of this world, is the idea of almost a Wild West setting where
Everyone's trying to go for the big bad, but the big bad's just too strong for them.
everyone's heading west to get money, but you're not the first ones, you won't be the last ones.
Yeah.
This Wild West setting has chewed out a fair few people, and I think we have the potential now to break that kind of, there hasn't been a good video game movie, and it's between Borderlands and Assassin's Creed to do it.
Yes,
because
'cause we got
Assassin's Creed is coming.
Because we got a really, really nice image of Michael Fassbender in, what did they say his Assassin's character was going to be called? Because they're not going to do Altair and Desmond. They're going for another take on it.
They have named the character, I can't remember, but he is a person living through the memories. If you don't know the Assassin's Creed series, memories can travel through your genetics, and this can be unlocked by the Animus machine, which is basically just tapping your DNA and finding where you come from. He is living through the memories of his Spanish ancestor. We've seen the image of it. You've seen it. Have you seen it? Yes.
Yeah.
I like it. I have this really weird niche gripe, as only a fan and a nerd would have, that I don't like that they're showing so much of his face. I get that they have to prove they got Michael Fassbender, because this has been a rumour and a myth and a legend for so long that
It's been in development hell for a fair few years now.
yeah, and we've had this thing of, they've got Michael Fassbender, he's gonna be an assassin, and I've been looking forward to it for so long, and they need to show they've got him, but the hood the hood needs to be further down. Like, that's my level of gripe about this. You need to kind of pull the hood down.
I do think it is just to show that they had Fassbender, just for promotional purposes. I think in the actual movie he's going to have the hood like almost down, like pointing to the bridge of his nose.
Yeah, because an Assassin's Creed character is a guy with a good looking jaw and a hood. That's it. And I love this series. I've been playing it since the first one. I
wasn't a big fan of the first one. I think the series took off at 2 for me.
The series has its flaws.
Yeah.
And the series should, they acknowledge the flaws to the point of they stopped doing it. I think it was because it goes 1, 2, Revelations, and Brotherhood.
I think no, Revelations was the last one. Brotherhood. It goes
Oh,
Brotherhood.
Brotherhood Revelations, because at the end of Revelations there is a revelation about the series that there's a bigger thing at stake.
Yeah, the woman that's talking to you in the temple is not talking to Ezio. He's talking to, or she is talking to Desmond, the main character.
We should maybe explain that Desmond is the main character in the video games for the first couple, where he plays through. He basically is the grandson of everyone who is awesome, but is a complete fucking pleb. I hate Desmond with a passion. He's the most boring person I've ever seen, and I just want him to not be a part of the game so I can be Altair, a man fighting through the Crusades, just trying to get by almost, kind of. And then Ezio, great lover of the ladies, whose like first scene is him basically escaping from a one night stand. And then you have like several games as Ezio. The character was so popular he went up against some of Italy's biggest names. Like, he goes up at one point, you're punching a pope. I'll just spoil that for you.
Yeah, you fight Rodrigo Borgia as the Pope. You have a fist fight with the Pope. That was a fucking awesome boss battle.
Considering that the Borgias have their own TV show called The Borgias, which I've always wanted to look into because Jeremy Irons is playing Rodrigo Borgia.
It's pretty good. I highly recommend it.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's a good pick.
But you fist fight the Pope, who is a Borgia, and that's almost, it's kind of toward the end of the game. It's kind of fun. But then
I'm pretty sure you also have a fight with Machiavelli.
You are a comrade of Machiavelli at
That's
one point.
it, yeah.
Yeah, you are hanging out with Leonardo da Vinci and Machiavelli. And I think at one point there was a little hidden thing where if you, like, it's one of those open world games where you complete side quests. If you play enough with da Vinci and you work with him enough, you can start a kind of like, it's a hint that he might be gay and that you might be willing to go along with it for a little bit. And it's a very interesting, he's an interesting character, Ezio, and he goes to like Constantinople and just he's everywhere, and he's the main like kind of springboard into this greater conspiracy that carries on through 3 and then 4, which 3 was the American Civil War.
Yeah, Connor. Is it I think it is Connor Kenway.
Connor Kenway, and then you have number 4, which is Black Flag, my favourite in the series, where you're a pirate.
Yeah.
also
Kenway.
Edward Kenway,
Father of Connor Kenway.
son or grandson.
No, Connor Kenway is Edward Kenway's son.
I think it's a sequel, like a couple of generations down the line from the third one.
No, Edward Kenway is his father.
But you're playing in the Caribbean after the British Empire.
That's before
gives up
he
on America.
goes to America and meets the.
I think it's after. I think 4 is chronologically after 3. This is
Yeah.
the problem is.
No, 4 is a prequel to 3. 4 happens after. 4 happens before 3, but I don't know why they done it that way, because Edward Kenway. Because they mention. Edward Kenway is Connor Kenway's grandfather.
I think his grandson.
That's his grandfather, because his father, Connor Kenway's son. Oh, sorry, fucking getting confused here. Connor Kenway's father is the spoilers Templar.
But yeah, oh no, wait, sorry, you're totally right.
Yeah, it was confusing for me the first time, because it was Connor Kenway goes by 2 different names and you don't know which one it goes for. Yeah, stupid. It's a weird prequel culture that I know you're not a big fan of.
To bring it right back to the start, fuck prequel culture.
Which it might be an episode name, but I don't think we're going to go with expletives and episode titles. iTunes not a big fan of it.
I don't know if they have any issue with it, to be honest. I'm sure I've seen it somewhere. But yeah.
So yeah, episode 8, fuck prequel culture. No, episode 9, fuck prequel culture.
No, we're 8. I hate prequel culture. Yeah.
I hate with H and 8.
Yeah, we could be really edgy about
It
that.
could be down with the kids. You.
Down with the kids.
I'll put it down with the kids, fam. You get me blood, and it bros.
Oh, we're talking fam now.
It's because when I was up in Inverness, we went to because like last week I tend to get low blood sugar pretty easily. Not diabetic or anything. I don't intake that much sugar anymore. I drink mostly like water and stuff. I don't drink that much fizzy juice or anything. So then my blood sugar, my hands were kind of shaking a bit. My blood sugar was low, so I went into McDonald's to get a milkshake, top it up for the day, just drink pure sugar. And the guy went, "Alright, blood, how's it going, man? I'll have a strawberry milkshake." You're in Inverness. This guy was like proper London. He must have been like moved up here with his family or something. And I was like, "Right, coming at you, fam." I'm like, "Just serve the fucking milkshake, mate."
He's from Inverness. He's from London, moved to Inverness.
Yeah,
and yet that's the whitest guy that could ever exist.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, that's a horrific comment by an old London actor saying that you don't see white people in London anymore. You're like, wow, please stop.
Yeah, just quickly ahead. Don't burn every bridge.
Yeah, but Assassin's Creed would be a great movie.
That would be an awesome movie.
And with Michael Fassbender,
Yeah.
totally willing to trust it.
He made Prometheus for him because Nimi Rapace's character was pretty shite. I'm not gonna lie, did not like her character, and it always seems to be the androids in alien films that make it for me, because Lance Henriksen as Bishop was absolutely quality.
Yeah, he gets a lot of respect and well earned, really.
And he's a good actor as well, which helps him out quite a bit.
Although he's got that sci-fi thing apparently, he gets into he's been typecast a couple of times because of what he's done before.
He does a lot of B-movie work as well, which is pretty shite. And the fact that he voices a Pokemon as well can't be too good for his career.
Which one's he?
It's one of the later DS games, like Pearl and Diamond. He voices one of the legendary Pokemon in that. He doesn't just say the Pokemon's name over and over again, he voices that Pokemon.
Well, he made it to legendary.
Yeah.
Has Pikachu got a legendary form?
No, I don't know. I haven't played Pokemon since this has been for a while. Well, I haven't been invested in a Pokemon game since say Pokemon Soul Silver for the DS. But then Pokemon Y came out, I bought that, finished it, and haven't touched it again because it was shit. I think I'm just past Pokemon, to be honest.
So
It's taken me a while, but I'm past it.
Here's a challenge: Pikachu, Raichu, blank. Fill in the blank.
Raichu's the final form.
Is he?
Yeah.
What's the second one?
Pikachu's the second. Because it goes Pikachu,
Oh
Raichu.
shit! I totally done goofed on that one.
Yeah.
Didn't I?
To be honest, I don't blame you. There's so many fucking Pokemon. It is mind-numbing to try and remember them all. There's almost 1,000 now.
I did hear that they've went for it was 150 something Pokemon to begin with, and they've got 1,151 Pokemon or some shit.
Because it went from 151. Well, it was 150. Then there was the 151 when the movie came out. Then there was new regions and then another 200 odd Pokemon. Now it's just gotten so fucking vast that there's now encroaching on 1,000 Pokemon.
It's nuts.
It's stupid, but Nintendo, it prints money.
Well, on me goofing on Pokemon, and then the revelation that there's over 1,000 Pokemon probably, and apparently it's now all about breeding, which is just wrong and creates
making
probably
them fuck diddles.
Yeah, and make them bang Dittos to just kind of create super Dittos.
Yeah.
I think we should end the show.
Yeah, I think we rambled for enough.
So I'm Colin Graham.
I'm Dal Anderson.
And we've been talking Gibberpish. 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 And we've been talking Gibberpish.